My official name actually is Asuncion, nicknamed Cecy R. Groom, CPA. Chinese version of Asuncion, Cecy, but they could not spell properly here in America, the Cecy, so I use Cecy. I'm a certified public accountant way back from the Philippines, and then I came over here. I was credentialed by the California Board of Accountancy as well, because they recognized that the CPA credentials in the Philippines are equivalent and have the same type of credentialing here. So they approved my being a CPA. That was when I came over to the United States in 1975. 73 I came over, and then I worked as a controller for private companies. Then I decided to be a CPA on my own. I came here on a professional visa, qualified as because of the assistance also of a very good friend from the naval base, saying that there's a need for CPAs here in the United States. I learned that he's also a CPA and now a lawyer, CPA lawyer, and it's a very encouraging type of a person to recruit me to come over here. I was surprised basically because I didn't realize that a private individual, someone who doesn't work for the Department of Labor is trying to tell me to come over to the United States and that there's a shortage of CPAs. And he kept encouraging me and even helped me file my professional visa with the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines at that time. And within 30 days, it got approved. Yes, without this person, I would have not been able to qualify and be able to come over here. In a way, it is difficult because I have a baby, and I was raising her and working at the same time, but because of the help of my sisters helping to take care of the baby, so I was able to work and leave the baby with them for a couple of years. As soon as I'm able to find out the procedure and how I can bring her, so the very first people that I brought in to me are through the immigration process is petitioning for my parents, my mom and dad, because they are immediately qualified to be able to bring them because they're immediate relative, to your petition. So my mom and dad were able to come with the baby, and that was beautiful. And so that really made a big difference in my life, because now I have my child with me, and I move on and work and took care of my child. And at the same time also, I help my brothers and sisters who are still in the Philippines, sending them the funds that I can send to help them so that they can also complete their education and be able to come over here. 10 of us in the family. I have 5 brothers, 5 sisters. So I'm the oldest of the 10. I was very grateful that I'm able to do that. So most of them are already here also in the United States. Yes. One of my brother lives in Sacramento, and he works as computer tech for Kaiser Permanente. So he develops all their software as well. And then I have a brother and 2 sisters in Hawaii. Yes, and so the rest of them are still in the Philippines, but they all have their own, profession. So although it was very painful to leave a less than 2-year-old baby, I had to do it, and I did. I'm glad I did also. And from there on, It was like a blessing, and it's great. At that time, there were several employment agencies that would place you to different jobs, and I was able to work for a CPA firm actually in the Los Angeles area at that time. So this CPA practitioner, owner of the firm, had me come work on a Sunday, and it was like almost the 89th day or something. So around 2 o'clock that Sunday, when everything was done, he called me and he handed me my paycheck. He said, "This is your last paycheck, and you're done. I'm not continuing your employment." And I was so shocked and devastated because, you know, that was my job, and then getting rid of me just like that for without any further notice. And it is very, because then I said, how will I pay my apartment? How could I survive? So, and he got rid of me just like that, and I said, oh my gosh, you know. So I was kind of really disappointed and frustrated already, and I thought of going back to the Philippines because how could I survive? Within a couple of days, the agency contacted me again. They said that there's a private company looking for a controller of their firm, and it's on Wilshire Boulevard. And I didn't realize it's one of the biggest and most expensive retirement facility on Wilshire at that time. I was hired as a controller, and I'm so glad I got that job. And so that company was also like in financial kind of challenges because it wasn't being managed properly. But my knowledge as a CPA, within a few months I was able to reverse the situation of the company and made it a very profitable firm, so they didn't lose their business. And so that was good. And then I was reporting to the CEO, of course. I still remember his name as Mr. Clifford Whining, you know. So, and they keep giving me a pay raise, but I keep refusing it. I said, I don't need the pay raise. And I just keep on working and doing my job like I felt like it's an obligation to save everybody's work as well. But with just my knowledge as a CPA was able to control some costs that are not necessary. So the board of directors at that time had said that I would like you to have Cecy Groom report to us during our board of directors meeting to explain to them what I've done. And which I did, I had to. But my supervisor at that time, Mr. Whining, instead of appreciating, I guess, what I've done for the firm, he told the board of directors that I'm good with what I'm doing. However, I offend a lot of people because of the way I talk. I was basically not tactful. That's what he said to the board of directors. So guess what? The board of directors told him, well, then let's send her to a finishing school, and we'll pay for it. So they sent me to John Robert Powers. Yes, that time. And they are paying for it. So part of some of the courses that they offered, you know, with the John Robert Powers School is public speaking, and that's what I decided to take as part of my courses. And so the instructor, before we started the class, he was asking everyone in the class, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? That's what he was asking all the students. And And so when it came, he's a gentleman instructor, you know, a guy. So when it came to me, he said, "Why are you in the class? What are you trying to achieve?" That's what he said to me. And I said, "I want to lose my accent." I said to him, and he goes like this to me, "Honey, don't lose your accent. It's sexy." He said. That was so funny, and it gave me the confidence, you know. It's just the way you deliver your you know, communication. But I was born, and I was so much so direct in my conversation. I don't dress up whatever. But because of my background as a management analyst also, that I was trained in the Navy, it's called methods engineering. Be productive, don't waste time. And that's how I was able to adopt that kind of knowledge, which to this point I truly appreciate it, because I don't want to waste time in anything. You know, I applied for a job after my work with the other companies. So I was sent to apply for a job with other firms. And this used to be the so-called International Industries Inc., which also owned the IHOP at that time, and then House of Nine, you know, fashion, women's clothes. And so I was sent to meet with the controller of that firm. They are in LA, in Alvarado Street at that time. So, but because I was taking the bus to the interview, I was late in showing up for the interview. And so the controller who's supposed to interview me had left already. So when I showed up there, the lady said, "Oh," the name of the controller was, I think, Dennis at that time. He said, "He already left, but you have to fill out this application, and he will review it, and then if you are background is qualified enough, they'll call you back for an interview." So I was filling out this information at the reception office. Then walks in a gentleman, you know, and then he asked the secretary, receptionist, he said, "Is that for me?" Like this, like, "Is that for me?" I said, "No." And the receptionist said, "No, Mr. Groom." He said, "Come back tomorrow and you're hired." Wow. So that was great, and I started working. Of course, it's accounts payable work, and then I threw away a lot of the paperwork that I didn't feel necessary. So I was confronted. "Why did you throw away the paperwork?" "Because they're not important," I said. So then he also asked me to work overtime Saturday, and so I did. I didn't realize though that after the work, he said, "You come with me and we'll go shopping for clothes." And because they own the House of Nine, you know, and he said that your clothes that you wear to work has to be very professional looking, and so I'm gonna take you to our stores and you have to pick some clothes for the office that you have. And it was offensive in a little way, because I thought, being from the Philippines and we are very particular about our outfit, that it was already kind of professionally put together. But since he was my boss, so we went shopping, and he took me to all the stores in of the House of Nine at that time. And then the store manager, he kept picking the clothes. Mr. Groom kept picking and sending a whole bunch of clothes to me. And then when we came out, he asked the manager, "Which one looked good on her?" And the manager said, "All of them, Mr. Groom." And so he said, "Okay, ring them all up." And he's still entitled to 40% discount, being, you know. So he ringed them all up, and at that time, the clothes were already, after 40%, was about $2,000. And so then I said, oh, no, I cannot afford to pay those. And he said, no, they are for you. It's being paid by me so that you will look professional in your job. And I said, no, I cannot accept gifts from strangers. My grandmother told me not to accept gifts from strangers. And then he said, well, you have to take this. I will only take it if you will deduct it from my paycheck every payday. I said, okay, we'll do that. I said, okay, could you deduct $10 every payday from my paycheck? That's all I can afford. So he agreed. So he dropped me off at my apartment that I was staying in at that time and in the downtown area. So as soon as he had got the clothes, dropped me off from my apartment, he started like hugging me and taking advances. And I said, I pushed him away. And I said, no wonder. I said, you're trying to buy me with these clothes? Heck no. I said, sorry. I said, so as soon as he dropped me off, I slammed the door on him so he cannot even come into my apartment. And that was that. So the following day, he started giving me a hard time. Like, you don't know how to file, you don't know this, you don't, like harassing me already. And so I was frustrated in a way, so I called the agency and I said, could you find me another job? Because I believe I'll be fired in my job. So then the agency said that they just paid your fee. I cannot just, well, if you cannot, then I'll find my own job. That's what I told the guy. I was about to leave that company, House of Nine at that time. Well, the following day, Mr. Groom approached me and he said that he was fired from his job. And he said, could you help me maybe consider going to the Philippines with you? That's what he said. And I felt sorry for him. I felt bad for him. And that's when everything else started. I fell for him. We dated for 5 years before I finally decided to get married to him. He was proposing marriage. I said, no, I don't want to get married to anyone anymore. I have a bad experience with my first marriage in the Philippines. I came here just to raise my oldest daughter, and that's all I want to do. And he said, well, aren't you gonna be happy if you have a dad for your daughter? Because I'll help you raise your daughter. That's what he said to me. And I still didn't believe that. So finally, 5 years later, we got married. Now I have 10 grandchildren. And the oldest one, Jacko Jackson, had just served the Marine. He's retired as a corporal. I decided to run for the Board of Education here in Cerritos. It includes the district. It's called the district. It includes City of Cerritos, City of Artesia, Hawaiian Gardens, part of Norwalk, and La Mirada. So it's a big district in a way. I decided to run for school board because I was volunteering in one of my children's classroom, and I noticed that after the class, the teacher was collecting all these pencil stubs. And I was curious, so I approached her. Why are you collecting the pencil stubs? I said, are you saving them for the children's toys? I said, and she goes, no, I'm saving them because we don't have money for school supplies. They don't give us money for school supplies. That's what he said. So I said, wow, I said, the Philippines is a very poor country, but they don't allow us to write with pencil stubs. We use, for writing, it has to be the regular pencil because you have to be writing. It affects the quality of your writing. It has to be pointing to your shoulder and all that. The pencil stub would not let the kids write properly. So I went home and talked to Mr. Groom about it. I said, I cannot believe this, that they're using the teacher is collecting pencil stubs for school supplies. I said, so what can be done about this? And he said, well, you should ask for their financial statements. He asked me, where do I get that? Go to their district office. And I did, and that's when I found out that there's so much money going into public school systems, but they're not spending anything for the supplies for the kids. And there's still also the lottery money, that time. So then I said, where do I complain about this? Well, go to their board meeting. So I decided to attend the board meeting where there are public forums, and then fill out your paperwork and file and speak to complain to the Board of Education at that time. So when I did, one of the board members shut me off. He said, we cannot let you derogate staff, because I questioned them. You are not providing pencils, funds for school supplies of the kids? And that's all I was able to say, and he told me, we won't let you continue. And so they let me, basically saying, shut up, sit down. So after that, I cannot continue talking. So another individual, a member of the community, filled out a card and spoke to them, and he said that this lady is making a big sense out of how you are funding schools, and you shut her off. And there's freedom of speech as well. That's not right. That's what he told the Board of Education at that time publicly. So right after that board meeting, people started coming to me asking me to run for school board. And I said, oh, I don't know how to do that. And so, but all of them keep bugging me, community folks, saying that you should run for school board, we'll show you how to do it, we'll volunteer for you, and all that. And so Mr. Groom told me, go run for school board. And I said, where do I file the paperwork? So some individuals, helped me file the paper at the county registrar's office, and that's how I decided to run for school board. I talk sense, I just address the issue, and it's all finance, it's all money issue. And none of these people understand the accounting and finance issue, and I was able to identify what should be done, what should not be done. So after the debate, this gentleman who told me not to show up, he came to me and he said to me, I didn't realize you're that good. That's what he said. So I told him, the next time you open your mouth, look who's signing your paycheck. I said, so that's what I said again. And sure enough, I got elected. And the very first brown face, if you call it, to be elected to the school board. First Asian person to be elected. And that's what I started. I served 20 years as a member of the Board of Education. And the main achievement that I'm very proud of is eliminating the $3.5 million deficit of the school district and transforming it into a $10.5 million surplus, plus allowing pay raises for teachers and employees for 10.5% without any additional funding and increasing taxes. It's just applying my knowledge as a CPA and reading the numbers properly. The Sukasa Foundation is a nonprofit group of women trying to help and assist women, issues for women, their challenges, they're battered women, they don't have financial capabilities to support themselves. So I found that out in the community that there are situations happening there. So I decided to work with them and be elected as one of their directors so that I can help and finance, do all kinds of fundraising and assisting in the Sukasa Foundation. Because of the professional achievement and then being a public servant, I was I was chosen by the legislature, Wayne Grisham at that time, to be Woman of the Year, and I believe it could be that one also. What I would recommend to individuals, especially the CPA profession, is first of all, you have to make sure that your knowledge of the profession is well equipped by the right degree, and then the continuing education, and then the proper intent of being a CPA, that you do it for the right reasons, and then with a lot of integrity applied to your profession. Don't get, especially we're CPAs, and we basically have quite a bit of power because we control numbers, but they have to be properly done, and make sure you always try to enhance your knowledge and education by continuing education and by your experiences. I was able to really help and make a difference in a lot of people's finances and careers, especially sometimes the improper tax assessment by the by the taxing authorities, and it's only when you are a CPA that you will be able to understand how those codes apply properly and legally. At the same time also, I am blessed and I'm glad that I also studied 2 years of law, and that is why a combination of knowledge of the legal system and being a CPA made a big difference in my knowledge of providing services to my clients. My grandmother was a woman of a lot of integrity and honesty, and she always ingrained in myself that whatever you do it with the best. You should not settle for second. You should be number one all the time, and do it with integrity, honesty, and not for the money. And it will pay off in the long run. And that's what she instilled in my brain as a young child. And that is what I adopted in my entire life and my career. And it's a living proof of what I am today and what I have accomplished. And I cannot be intimidated. That's what she told me. Don't be intimidated by anybody. As long as you're doing the right thing, no one will be able to intimidate you. That's what she said to me. She's my idol. She's my grandmother. I work from home and from my office because clients come to me. Believe it or not, I don't advertise at all, and all my clients are being referred to me. It's a word of referral all the time. There's always a need for my services, and I'm very appreciative of that. The other clients I have are all in the modeling agency. It's basically all the 3 modeling agencies in Los Angeles are my clients. Yeah, Wilhelmina, fashion MSA, Ray Lata is one of the director of Wilhelmina before, and he left the agency and formed his own agency now. So there are 3 of them competing with each other, but I'm glad all of these national models come to my house even. And there are so many challenges being in public office as well, because because I do it for the public service in itself, the real reason for public service. And I told all these other officials that, when they asked me to speak before a group of community events and elected officials group, I said, the true meaning of public service is serving the community, the public, and not self-service.